Morning everyone, Nick from Meat Smoke Fire here. Beautiful day again. So welcome, thank you for joining us. Today again, another 3 cooks. I have ignored, and I apologise, Andy, who requested a whole cook on 1 egg. But we've got something different planned for this week. We'll try and do that next week. So yeah, things are a little bit different today. I say that every week, but yeah, our 3rd camera person in 3 weeks. So today's mystery camera person is Helena, which means there's nobody on the iPad. So we won't be typing anything because there's only the 2 of us today. Andrea is still at home. So yeah, it's the 2 of us. So Helena will be trying to video me and look at the comments and ask the questions while we go through everything. So this week we're going to do 3 different cooks. One of them it won't finish while we're on the feed. So I will do some extra feeds throughout the day, but we'll come to that. So the first cook we're going to do some breakfast pastries. So some bacon, cheese and tomato pastries and some mushroom, cheese and tomato pastries. Really simple, really good. For those of you who have missed out on our 2nd cooking class, I'd have made your own breakfast this time, and this is what you'd have done. So we'll have to change things up a bit when it comes round to, there's little flies around today, little wasps around. We'll have to change things up a little bit when it comes to those classes, but we're going to do it today because it'll be a bit of fun. So that is going to be our first cook. Our second cook will be a porchetta. So a lovely piece of pork belly rolled, and you can put whatever you want in the middle to stuff it. I'm going to use some apricots, some raisins and a few other things in there. We'll roll it, and what we're going to do slightly different. You can do this normally on a usual plate setter and your stainless steel grid and just roast it. But we got a rotisserie, so we're going to try it on a rotisserie. We did it during the week. It was fabulous. The advantage is it's self-based, it gets crispy all over, it works an absolute treat. And then the last cook we're going to do is some grilled baby gem lettuce with a few other bits on. So what we'll do is go over to the table, get cracking and do some pastries. In fact, no. 4th cook, it's already on there. We have been cooking slow roasting, so these have been at 125, some mini cherry tomatoes with garlic, and these have got basil, bit of salt, bit of pepper, and we're going to use those in the cook. So I'm going to take these off and take them over to the table, and then I'm going to come back and turn this egg up. I want this egg to be 220 degrees. I've got it on the Egg Genius, so all I'm going to do, open the top up a bit more, and then I've got an app. So apologies, this bit isn't very exciting. You might want to come closer, Helena, only because people won't hear me that far away. So I'm just going to turn it up to 220 degrees. Okay, it's done. And what will happen, this will kick in, it will ramp up the temperature. It's really cheating, but while we're doing all of this, I just want to get this at the right temp. Make sure that baking stone in this egg. I have a plate setter or a convector. I've got the stainless steel grid, and on top I've got a baking stone. So all this is going to do is just ramp that temperature up and get it nice and hot. So let's go over and make these things. Right. Any questions, Helena? Have you seen them? Are you reading them?
No. Stuart, risk it for a brisket, is hungover.
Oh, well done, Stuart. Well played. Any other hangovers? That's our standard question. Sarah won't be hungover this morning, or might be, but she's not on. Anyone else?
No. Brother's on, Annie's on, Paul White's on, Andrea's on.
Excellent.
Lots
Morning,
of
guys.
Regulars, Karen. Ben Slater.
Morning, Ben in his tractor. He's already sent me a photo. He's got a huge field this morning, so he should be able to watch more of it. He normally gets cut off halfway through because he's run out of field to plough. He's harvesting today. It's a big wheat field, it looked like to me. He'll probably come on and tell me it's something totally different.
Steve's got another Red Lion hangover.
Oh, perfect, Steve. Well played.
Sue Stoneman's on.
Brilliant. Right.
Oh, and happy birthday to Chris Leonard. He's hoping to have a hangover tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Chris. So some puff pastry. All I'm going to do, roughly cut down the middle, and then I'm going to turn it around and cut it into roughly so that these bits are rough squares. You should be able to get 6 out of them. So something like that. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I'm in it.
That's all right. That's
I
all
don't
right.
think I'm going to be the best camera girl.
A giggly camera girl already. Porg, we want you back. No, anyway, that's Andy. That's Andy's nickname, by the way, Porg.
Oh, Ben's in a wheat field.
Oh, wheat, there you go. Right, so first off, I'll do the vegetarian one. So what we're going to do, just put some mushrooms across the diagonal of these pastries. And I should have got myself a little bowl of water. I will get that in a second. So if I use all of these, or I put some out the way, I can use this. So across the diagonal, like so. I'm just going to tip those out and go and get some water, which might be difficult because I don't think I turned my tap on. You may have to hang, what I did. Yeah, today if we've forgotten anything, I'm going to have to run off to the kitchen. It's going to be a car crash. Yeah, we've not got anyone to run around afterwards. So some lovely smoky streaky bacon. So that, again, same thing. Put it across. This is from the chop shop in the village, Histon Chop Shop, from Mark. He makes some fabulous bacon. So those who've been on one of our cooking classes, it's what we serve every morning. Just love it. So, so some of those. I'm going to get some of these tomatoes, and we're going to put these on both types across the middle. Now, if you don't want to make these baby tomatoes, what you could do is just use tin tomatoes, and you could use just Italian tin tomatoes. They work out really beautifully, but I thought we'd just go a bit different today. These you can make when you finish cooking on your egg. So as your egg cools down, pop them in and off you go. I've done it overnight, where I've just left them in the egg as it's cooling down, and by the following morning they're all, you know, like these little sun-dried tomatoes that you pay a huge amount for from the supermarket. So yeah, not many left for our lunch there. Well, we'll have pastries galore, won't we? I'll put a couple more on this one. So get those in. So we're doing everything on the diagonal. Just get that off my hands, and then I'm just going to use some Gruyere cheese and grate that over these. Now this is quite a rubbery cheese, so it's not the easiest to grate. When it's thin at the one end. You can do this with cheddar, but Gruyere burns less. She's stealing the tomatoes. Concentrate on the video, not feeding. Come on. We've only been doing it 5 minutes.
So Chris says, do you put the tomatoes in the skillet with or without oil?
Lots of oil, yeah, oil. So they went in this morning. I put them on at just after 7. I basically layer it up with tomatoes, sprinkle over garlic, sprinkle over some Maldon salt, sprinkle over a bit more Maldon salt so you've got enough, black pepper, and then some basil he's had, or oregano, and then just pop them in. These were on at 225 for about 3.5, 4 hours. So then take one of the corners, fold it over, and I just do all of them at the same time, like that. So I'm doing it towards me, it's easier. And then this is where the water comes in, so you just dab your fingers in a bit of water and put it on the pastry, and that will just loosen the pastry up and turn it into glue. So when you put the other corner over, they should stick. Now they don't always, it doesn't matter, but it just helps. Oh, I know what I've forgotten. Forgotten to put the black pepper on. Oh, look at me. Just fold them back. Sorry guys. A little bit of pepper. Always makes them nice. Obviously freshly ground, not. I find this stuff is great just for this sort of thing. But right, let's get them back over, and then we can put the other corner over because it's starting to stick nicely. Make sure it all goes in there. Like that. You can hear that egg puffing away over there, just trying to get it up to temperature. So we might, it might not be ready by the time these are ready, so we'll put them in. We might wait a little bit and put do a bit more prep on the others while it gets up to temp. Right, so they're ready to go in now.
Egg wash.
Yeah, egg wash, but I'll do that when I've got them on here. So, sheet of baking parchment. So I did this the other week, didn't I? Fold it, and that corner, fold it. So it's, that corner is going to be our corner. Fold it into the corner. Fold it again, like that. And then, roughly half the size of your baking stone, cut it. And what you'll get is a lovely round to put your pastries on. So if I get a tray, we'll move this one out of the way. Let me just lose it for a sec. So all we're now going to do is pop these on. Now that looks a little bit big in my experience, so I'll put them like that. And what we should be able to do is get two like that. Ooh, lost a tomato or two out of there. And out of that one. Get those back. Any questions, guys? Keep Helena on toes. So a little bit of egg wash now going on. I'll just use that spoon to just whiz it up a bit. And all we're going to do is egg wash these before they go on. So super simple, but utterly delicious. And baking them on the egg, you get a lovely crispy bottom. You get a little bit of smoke in there. You've got that smoky bacon on some of them. I've mixed them all up now, haven't I? So, but yeah, if you had vegetarians there, then obviously don't mix them all together. But nobody here is vegetarian, so it's not a problem. Right, my egg is not far off 220. So let's go over and have a look. We'll put them over here. We might give it a couple of minutes. But if you look at the temperature gauge, Helena, the Egg Genius has brought it straight up to 220. It will probably go a little bit past, but you can hear, I can hear the fan here slowing down. It might go a little bit beyond and then come back. That baking stone's not going to be quite up to temperature yet, but we'll give it 5 minutes and then we'll go for it. So I'll put those in about 5 minutes time.
Andrea, can you set a timer for 5 minutes?
Oh. Set a timer for 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes.
There, look at that. It's on it. Right, let's get on to the next cook. So this is the fun one. It doesn't matter that my board's a bit dirty, because we're going to put some meat on there. I have a lovely piece of belly pork. I've just wrapped it in cling because it defrosted overnight. Now, ideally, the best way to get crackling is to leave this uncovered in your fridge overnight. Unfortunately, I didn't think about defrosting it until last night because we bought it earlier in the week. So it hasn't defrosted overnight. Hasn't dried overnight. If you left it uncovered in the fridge, it would have dried out the skin. It just means that towards the end of this cook, I'll have to turn it up a bit earlier. Best way, if your butcher doesn't score this for you, the best way is to use a Stanley knife. Just get a new blade in there, and what we can do is just pull it through the fat. So you normally start halfway across the meat. I'll show you in a sec what this is doing. Now, you won't cut yourself as easily as you would with a kitchen knife, but can you see it's nicely scored in there? Beautifully scored, yeah. I'll flip it round, and then we can do the other halves towards you. And that way, you're not trying to get your fingers in the way, just makes it easy. You'll still get a nice score. and these are as cheap as chips. So there we go, Stanley knife. So lovely, scored all the way through the fat. We're going to turn it over. Now porchetta is just a stuffed piece of pork. So I've got some sausage meat here. Now you could, I probably don't need all of this, so I'm going to squeeze a bit out and not touch the rest. And at least we can use that for something else then. So bit of sausage meat, or you can get sausages, take the skins off. I'm going to put that in the middle and squash it on. Now don't worry about getting it right to the edges, because what we're going to do is roll this at the end and then tie it, and as you tie it, it will squeeze everything and it will drop out. So if you don't put it all at the edges, that's the best way. Right, I'm going to wash my hands because I'm going to go into a clean packet. So Helena, any questions?
No, so far, not that I've seen.
It's difficult to do. You can always scroll back, I think, if you want to. Or
We're worried about touching.
Again.
Oh no, I can screw it, that's fine. No, so yeah, new camera lady today. It's Mrs. Meat Smokefire on the camera. Not sure I'm doing as good a job as everyone else, but so hence no comments, live comments for now. Thanks, Chris. So welcome back from your holiday, Alex. Hi, Carlos. You've just joined.
See you on Wednesday, Carlos. Right. First thing I'm putting in, and you can put whatever you want in here. I'm putting in some pine nuts. Now we could have toasted these, but I think they'll be nice in there. So a few pine nuts going in. I'm going to put in, and I love these fruity. Some people don't. So I'm putting in a handful of chopped apricot. Okay, it's probably good. I'm going to put in some sunflower seeds, bit of crunch, as well as the pine nuts. Now I'm putting it all in the middle because when we roll it, it's all going to get rolled up. Oops, throwing it everywhere.
Okay, so someone's asked, roughly how expensive is a piece of pork belly that size?
About £15.
Okay.
10 to £15, depending on your butcher. So some raisins. These are green raisins we found in the shop. Taste exactly the same as brown raisins, but got some of those in there. You've got to put some garlic in there. Pork and garlic go really well together, so we'll put some garlic in. Chopped garlic, roughly chopped, get that in there. And sage leaves. So I'm actually going to chop these up a little bit, so let's roll them up. And we'll get those in, sprinkle them in. Perfect. Bit of black pepper, which is on my other tray.
No, it's here.
Not, because I didn't put it back on the tray. We're going to put salt on the outside, so don't bother salting it. Now what we're going to do, take this and roll it. You want to try and keep as much of that filling in there, okay? And now here comes the bit. Pinging, all my time is done. Stop. Right, so let's go and put those pastries on, Helena.
Okay.
Pop these in, just over 220. So I'm going to slide them on the baking stone. That one's on. They're all on. Perfect. So these now need 20 minutes. Set the timer for 20 minutes.
Thanks, Andrea.
Okay, 20 minutes to go.
There we go. Oh, I've left the string. Coming back. Now the bit you all need to learn.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Flying everywhere.
Let's just roll it up. Don't know why we use that outside, it always blows around. Let's just put the stand on it. Right. Butcher string. Get it underneath. I'm going to put one in the middle to start with. Now, a butcher's knot is not that difficult. There's miles on.
I haven't seen
Haven't
it.
seen him.
It's so hard to see, it's so bright.
I'm going to put the string, it's still hooked on, it's going down under the meat, coming over the top and over my finger, and put my thumb on. And I'm going to loop it over my thumb, pull it from the bottom, twist it and push it through that hole. And all that's done is create a slip knot. And if I just pull it down like that, and then all I'm going to do is put one more knot on that, and I can cut the ends off. And that is a butcher's knot. I'll do it again because I've got to put at least 5 of these on. So we're going to take the string underneath, Put it over your finger, put your thumb on top, over your thumb and round. Twist your thumb over and put it through the loop where your thumb was. And that is it. And then we can line this up. You can always see the sausage meat falling out. Stuff it back in. You want to keep that in there. Okay. And then just put a loop it, just put another knot on top to stop it coming done. And then use your knife to chop it off. Do the other end. Get underneath. Get underneath the pork, it would help. Right. So again, put it over your first finger. Put your thumb on the top. Go round, underneath, and then down through the loop where your thumb was. If you pull it out, to pull it tight, and then you pull it down and give it a tug, and that will just it will self-grip then, and then I just use the end. I just do a knot on the end. Done. If you want to see it done with real precision, there's a guy called Scott Rea. Look him up on he goes by the Scott Rea project on YouTube, and he'll teach you how to do it if you haven't got it from that. His is a good video. There's no need for me to remake it. But yeah, that's how you do a butcher's knot. There are multiple ways of doing this, so Miles will probably tell you there's a totally different way. If you ever go and see Miles the butcher in the Gogs. So, last one, over, through. And then, whoops, didn't pull that tight, sorry. That one. Now, if you're a professional butcher, what they tell you is all the knots should line up all in a long line. Right, so, and there is our porchetta ready to be cooked. Just going to move all that out of the way. And I'm going to go and get our spit that we're going to put this on. What's sort of falling out again? That's the trouble with this, is when you tighten it, it squeezes it out. Now, so you're going to lose some of this, but it doesn't matter. We'll put some oil and some salt on it once we get it on there. I'll give it a quick rub when we get it onto the barbecue. So let me get the spit. Get out of it, Mr. Wasp. All I'm going to do, and this is really easy because you've got that sausage meat in the middle. Get away, Wasp. You just push it straight away through the middle and get those barbs into it. Like that. We'll have to push the sausage meat back in, and then I'm going to put the spit on the other side and push it in. Get away. He's not going to be happy, that was, because I've just battered him. Get that spit in, tighten it up, and that's now ready to roll around as we go. Look, I'm losing some sausage out the end, but it doesn't matter. Right. Let's take it over to the egg. I'm just going to balance it on my tongs. Why not? So I've got an egg here. It's a little bit warm. I'm going to turn it down. I want to cook this relatively slowly, so about 140 degrees. So I'm going to turn this one down. It's up at 200, but we'll get used to it. In fact, let me just wash my hands quickly. See if there's any questions.
None so far.
You're not reading them well.
Yeah. Everyone's very quiet today.
Okay, they're probably awestruck with this lovely porchetta, is that it? Okay. Now, we're going to use a rotisserie. So I've got this thing called a Let's Q spit rotisserie. This is wedge shaped. So the thin bit goes towards the back of your egg, the fat bit towards the front. You don't have to make any adjustments to your egg. Just line it up like that and then pull it towards the front of your egg. I found is best. And what we can then do is put the motor on there and put our porchetta in there. And now, if I turn the motor on, it's gonna go.
So Sam has asked,
Yeah.
would the temperature be the same if cooking without the rotisserie?
I cook it, what do I do? Yeah, roughly the same. But you're going to get slightly different results. But I'll make sure the recipe on the website reflects both of those. I'm getting a bit of flames because I'm putting oil onto my pork, and I'm going to sprinkle salt on. So I've kept one hand clean, one hand dirty. So we're going to get some salt and rub it in. Now you could do this before you put it on the egg. And my egg is a little bit hot, so, and having the lid open is not great. A little bit more.
Okay, so Malcolm has said he's got an extra large and a large big green egg. What size rotisserie would you recommend?
Oh.
You've got to have one for each.
Are you really going to cook anything? Well, I suppose you might cook a suckling pig. So maybe the extra large. I don't know. I've got an extra large. I've got one of these for the large. It's the one we'll use the most. There's only two of us. I guess I could get another one if I needed to. I'm going to turn this down. What you want is turn it right down, because a little bit of air gets in and out where the spit goes through the bit on the edge. That's the only place really. So turn it down just a little bit more. You get a pretty good seal around because of the wedge shape. I'm getting a tiny wisp there, but I'm not worried about that. And you get obviously coming out the other side where the spit goes through. But other than that, it's pretty good. There's a little bit of a leak at the back. Yeah, it works really well. I'm going to wash my hands again. So Malcolm, was Malcolm, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, toughie.
So
I'd start with a large, and then if you really need one, you can go and buy the extra large later.
Paul has said, have you used the Mini Max one yet, and is it big enough for a whole chicken?
I haven't used the Mini Max one yet, Paul, because I sold them all. It does look like it's big enough for a whole chicken. Yeah, it's in the post, by the way, so it's already shipped. It's on its way to you. They left here yesterday, Paul. So hopefully that's all right.
People are laughing because they can hear or saying that they can hear the pigeon, that we should shoot it and put it on the rotisserie.
Yeah, pigeon meat's nice. I bought this from Amazon. This is a stainless steel basket. It goes on there, and you can do chicken wings in it.
Jane, the cans of Coke are for Nick.
Yeah, they're mine.
They're not nothing to do with the cook, just to keep him hydrated.
I always put too many out in case I get really thirsty.
Karen's trying dirty skate for the first time later.
Do it. Karen, did you say?
Yeah, Karen Truelove.
Karen, you'll love it. Don't panic. With steak, as ever, just feel it. Feel what it feels like before it goes in, and then feel what it feels like as you cook it. So I don't know if you know this, so if you just touch your first finger and your thumb together and prod that bit of your thumb, feel that, and then move to the next finger. You're not squeezing, you're just touching, and prod it, and you'll feel it changes. That's a rare steak, that's a medium rare steak, that's a medium steak, and that's, you're never coming to my house for steak, because it's well done. It doesn't work if you're a farmer, Ben, because you're probably done a lot of if you surf a keyboard all day, you'll be fine, but if you're a farmer like Ben, it's not going to work. Anyway, right, I'm going to leave that on there. That's going to cook all day. It'll probably take about 5 hours in total, so it's gone on at roughly midday. So we'll be having an early tea. We can take it off, we can rest it. It will have crackling all over. So throughout the afternoon, I'll come out and I'll take video and put them on Instagram, so you don't have to be waiting to watch it, but you can you'll be able to see them. Right, last cook. I'm going to come over there, Helena. We are going to, don't fall over the plants, or be our first camera person to, bit more streaky bacon. Everybody loves a bit of streaky bacon. I've just got it in a little bit of oil, and I've got it in one of these usual Tefal Ingenio, the pans that the handles that come off and on. and I'm going to pop it in there, let it warm up. I'm going to crisp up that bacon. Right, I'm going to take all of this over to the table because this will not take long at all. Let me lose that. Just get these things out of the way. Give my board a little bit of a clean. And one sec. Oh, there I did it. I knew I pulled it out. And just give it a wipe because we're going to put fresh stuff on it that isn't going to be cooked. So these are just anti-backs just to be safe. Any questions? Ask away.
I've got a siren going. Can the saucepan lids go in the egg?
Glass ones. Oh, that's a good question. I would have said yes, but they do have silicone around the outside, so do be careful you don't get your egg too hot and melt the silicone. But yeah, there's no reason why not. They're glass and silicone, they're designed to get hot. Just make sure your egg is at a sensible temperature. Does that make sense? Right. We are going to make a Caesar dressing to go. Got some little baby gems. We're going to grill them and then we're going to put Caesar dressing on. So I'm going to take a couple of fillets of anchovy.
Ooh. Hi Charlie.
Which Charlie's that?
Montero.
Oh, hi
Your
Charlie.
golfing
Montero.
partner.
Yeah, well, we'll be playing golf on Wednesday, sorry. I assume Charlie's going to be there. I should know, I looked at the booking form. Right, a couple of pieces of anchovy. Some people don't like them, but bear with it. They're just salty. They'll break down. So I'm just going to chop them up a little bit. And that will do me. And we're going to pop them in the bowl. Right, on here somewhere, I should have a garlic clove. There it is. So I'm just going to take the garlic. Probably don't need. Oh, luckily it's a little and it's two. So we're just going to grate the jar. If you bang, put your knife on and bang like I did, it will just peel straight away. Easiest way of peeling them. And then you can just chop them up. Keep your fingers out the way. And then the easiest way to do it, I've left it over here, a bit of sea salt. So a bit of Maldon salt, sprinkle it on there, and then use your knife, blade away from you, to just pull it across there. And that is garlic puree. Simple, goes in. Right, just gonna wipe my hands. A bit sticky. Right, mayonnaise. I'm going to put in.
Oh, how long have those pastries been on?
It's all right. Put a timer on.
Okay.
So a couple of really big dollops of mayonnaise. Okay. Some grated Parmesan. Go in there. I'll put all the quantities up on the recipe, and then finally you can use white wine vinegar or lemon, works really well. My trusty lemon squeezer that we've used just about every week, I think. We'll squeeze some lemon in there, and then we'll grab a fork.
Bonjour Lucy. Lucy Mackay is in France.
Oh wow, bonjour Lucie, ça va? You can tell how that I actually studied at Bordeaux University and my accent's that rubbish. Yeah, I did part of my engineering degree at Bordeaux. Best time ever. So there we have the wasps are loving it. Caesar dressing. And then we're going to take these lettuces. Helen has already been eating one, so it's a little bit smaller than the other. Chop them in half. Ooh, that one's I might quarter the big one. No, I'm going to go with it. Take these, I'm going to take them over to our egg, get my tongs. Now, I'm going to need a drizzle of oil. Choose this plate, pop them on the plate. Oh, that one's disintegrating because Helen's cut the bottom out. It's a lot easier if you don't cut the bottoms off them. Sorry. So, and then you go skin side, just straight down. So while you entertain them, I'm going to run and get a wooden spoon.
Okay.
You're on your own.
Thanks.
Any questions? I'll hear them and I'm going to be back.
Oh dear. When your husband abandons you and you're not used to being on the camera.
Are you reading the questions?
There aren't any questions.
I stitched you. Right, let's have a look at our porchetta then.
Oh, nice.
So it's just whirring round. It will go around slowly all day. We've got the heat down. We've lost some sausage onto the coals. Doesn't matter. It will set pretty soon.
Coming down as a dirty sausage.
Yeah. So that's looking good. I don't know how long I've got left on these.
5 minutes, 3 minutes. I don't need a bit more.
Yeah, I need a bit more of those. But they're starting to brown up nicely. So give those a few more. It's going to be perfect. We'll get our lettuce out just the right time. So I'm going back.
So what way up did you do the lettuce? So you put...
So I've put it cut side down to start.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
So let's get this bacon. Let's just... all I want is to get this nice and crispy, the bacon. So let's have a look at that lettuce. Oh yeah, we get a nice little grill mark on there. We'll give it another couple of minutes. So we'll do that. And I'm also going to put a pot. I'm going to do this. I'm fine, but put a couple of pine nuts in the bacon. So we'll put some pine nuts on the top. Add some pine nuts in the bacon. They'll toast up nicely. Soak up some of that oil.
Okay, so
Yep.
Paul Clay Carpenter
Yeah.
has asked for a short video on how to set up the coals and egg for the rotisserie. Is it any different?
No, not at all, Paul.
Hold on a minute, let's turn you around.
So all I did, I put the normal amount of charcoal in there. Bill Gardner has suggested you don't need to put that much in. I don't see why you shouldn't. So I put the normal amount of charcoal in. I pull the rotisserie bit up the front just so that the back of your egg shuts. On the Minimax, just watch as you shut the lid. Just be careful that your lid isn't scraping over the bottom, because I know you've got the one for the Minimax. But yeah, just as you shut the lid, just make sure it's not scraping and pulling your gasket off. But I just pull them to the front, pop it in, and yeah, it's got the normal amount of charcoal. If you look in there, it's up to the top of the fire bowl. And I'm just running it at a lower heat, so and it will run for lower and longer. Yeah, so nothing special.
So Jane has asked, what liquid would you recommend for beer can chicken? Controversial, I know.
Beer can chicken is a complete myth. If you stick a chicken around a beer can, that's our timer. Set the timer for 5 minutes. Did it do that? Set the timer for 5 minutes. That's it. If you stick a chicken around a beer can or around a pot of liquid, the chicken is going to cool that liquid down and act like an insulating basket. The liquid in the middle never boils. There's a great article on a really good website. If you do a Google search for beer can chicken amazing ribs, amazingribs.com, it will tell you all about it. It's not the safest way of cooking a chicken, in my opinion. I prefer just the vertical chicken roasters without any liquid in, and you will get a still super moist chicken. Best way to do it. Simple as that. So apologies if you've bought a beer can rack or something like that. If it's holding the chicken away from the beer can, then fine. But as most of the recipes do, you open the can of beer, you drink 2/3, and you leave the bottom third for your chicken. If you're going to do it that way. but it's a bit of a myth.
Okay,
Right.
so someone has said, could you add any smoking chunks on the coals for the porchetta to enhance the flavour?
Yes, you could. But I think you would really want to be sparing with it. Can you see that baby gems coming up nicely? We're getting a bit of a... You've got to try this. And those pine nuts and bacon looking good. So yeah, you could use some smoke, but it's going to hit the food directly. It's going to be really strong. So tiny amount to start with and see how it works. Personally, I tend to just take the smoke from the charcoal. You're getting the dripping fats on there. That's vaporizing, coming back as smoke. I think that's plenty for me. So I don't tend to use a lot of smoking chips or chunks anyway. You know, I probably buy a box. I tend to buy a box of. I use a sweet chestnut, and that will do me a year and a half, and I cook all the time. So yeah. Right.
Morning, Chris. CP Smith Stove. Just
Oh,
joined.
morning, Chris. Chris in Fakenham. How's the new shop? Keep asking. I must ring you and find out.
Right. Someone has asked. Sorry, don't know your name because from your Instagram name. What's the advantage of using a rotisserie, and does it justify the cost? Unbiased answer, please.
Yeah. Well, I was, and a lot of people know this. Not a big fan of rotisseries. I didn't get it, but as you know, I now sell them. Taken on the Let's Queue. Oops, I'm just trying to tilt this pan so that the fat drains out. What does it add? It adds, when you're spinning something and you've got the fats coming out, the fats will run around and it will self-baste. It will also mean you've got an even cook over that. So if you've looked at the photo of the porchetta I've done on my website, not the one on Insta, the one on the recipe, it's one that was done without rotating it, and you don't get an even cook all over it. This allows you to get an even cook all over it. I'm still experimenting. I did chicken wings on it in that basket the other day. They were fabulous. Helena said they were much more like American chicken wings because they got really crispy, because they just get tossed and turned, and you get they get cooked all over. We haven't done a chicken on it. We've got to do that. We will do that.
And we've got a fish basket.
We've got a fish basket that's arriving today, so hopefully tomorrow we'll be doing 2 whole sea bass, and we'll get it to rotate it so that they'll get all over cooking as it's going. So it's just another way of cooking. Yeah, I will continue to report on it. So far, I love it. The porchetta we did the other night, the one that was on the Insta, was just incredible. It was so moist. Yeah, and I'm hoping this one's going to be the same. If you want an unbiased view, talk to my friend Simon. I assume he'll give an unbiased view. Simon Margerison. He's on the Facebook groups. He ate the porchetta. So
A couple of questions.
Yeah, right.
Would you use the meter on the porchetta?
You can do, yes. I should have done that.
You did the other day.
I did the other day, and I will.
Yeah.
I'll go and grab it in a minute. I'll show you.
Okay.
Right, so I'm putting the bacon and the pine nuts on. So we have something crispy. Got a few left over. Chef's tips. Yeah.
And what temp, remind everyone, have you got the pork cooking at?
The pork, I'm going to do at 145. That's our 5 minutes. I'm going to do it at 145, 140, sorry, for about 5 hours. There's a 5 in there somewhere. And then I'll turn it up at the end to about 180. If you're doing it indirect, i.e. you're using a convector and you're not using a rotisserie, you need to turn it up to 220. But because you've got a direct heat, you don't need it as hot. So I'll cook it then at 180, and that will crisp up the whole outside. And it's exactly the same. You just got to be careful you don't overdo it and burn it, because it is easily done.
Your favourite butcher, Miles, has just joined.
Morning, Miles. How are you? Grilled baby gem. Need a spoon, not a fork. Pop that in.
Okay, so someone's just said they had lots of flames last night whilst cooking burgers. How can I stop the flames?
Keep the lid shut. Stop looking. Turn your egg down a little bit. Stop looking at it. As soon as you open the lid, that's where you get the flames. You're letting all the oxygen in, so lid down. Be in control of it. Burgers only need to be cooked at maybe 200, 220 degrees. That's it. Any hotter, yeah, I know, we've got to go and do it. Getting pointed at by the camera lady. But any hotter than that, you are gonna get flames. It's just because the fat's coming out, dripping down and igniting. But if you've got the lid shut, you're in control. So just keep the lid shut as much as you can. Right. How are we doing on time? Perfect.
Oh, nice.
They are looking splendid. Now they could be a little bit more, but we'll take them off for the camera. We're going to look at the bottoms. Oh yeah, nice and golden. Whoops.
So someone has said, any recommendation on cool boxes for resting meat a long time? Any cool boxes are...
Any cool box really. Just one that's, you know, pay some decent money. Don't buy the cheapest thing. I'm just bringing these out on cooling rack because I want them to cool down. I've mixed up which are bacon and which are mushroom, but we'll find out. It's half the fun, isn't it? My main cool box is an Igloo one. It's enormous. It's like this sort of size.
Oh, hello, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's about this long, this high, this deep. The boys have gone camping with it this weekend. We do village dad's camping. They've taken it camping. Not my boys, friends. So yeah, those look lovely.
Chris has asked about the cost of the rotisseries. Best to just go to the website?
Yeah, they're on the website. So the large one, this one is $230. The mini max 200, the medium 220, and the extra large 250, I think.
Need to show Miles your...
And we've got plenty more arriving on Tuesday because the ones we had delivered this week sold out. Apart from the medium, everyone asked for a medium one and nobody's bought one. And then all of these people who've got mediums at home ask why there's never any accessories for the medium. How do I do, Miles? That looks good, doesn't it? Mm. Yeah, Miles the butcher, that's...
I won't let him look at your knots too closely.
Yeah, my knots are fine. It's all holding together.
So Steve George has said Dutch oven, big green egg or lodge?
If you want to make sourdough bread, I found I've got both, as you might have seen. I prefer the big green egg one. It holds, because it's slightly narrower, it holds the bread, stops it from going outwards and makes it go upwards, so you get a better loaf. If you're not interested in doing sourdough, then one is cast iron, one is enamelled. They're roughly the same price. I would probably still say big green egg. I like the enamelled. Just a better finish.
Okay, so Karen...
But the lodge is a thing of beauty.
Karen has asked, rotisserie for Christmas turkey, would it work?
Don't see why not. Might actually try that.
Okay.
Christmas time. We don't do turkey in this house. Roast beef is the way to go. 4 rib of beef on there. Probably not. Still going to go for a reverse sear on a 4 rib. And I'm still going to get it from Miles the butcher at the Gogs and have him age it for an extra... I think he aged it for me for 6 weeks. And Helena's face when it came out the bag and it had mould growing on the outside. That's how it's supposed to be. So anyway.
So we got everything off?
Yeah, we have. So we've got our... yeah, you might want to come out the shadow. There you go. So we have grilled baby gem with pine nuts, prosciutto or bacon, and some Caesar dressing. They'll be delish. We've got the pastries, which could have done with a tiny bit more, but hey, they're going to be delicious. And we've got our porchetta. Now next week, I think we have a special guest. Hopefully he's still up for it. We have the guys from Spice Punch who make rubs. So David's going to come along. David has his own dry aging fridge or thing, whatever. It's a fridge. And he's promised to bring along some pretty special dry aged beef, I think. So David will be coming. We'll stand apart until the meat comes off, and then it'll be all hands on the knives and forks. But so David's going to bring some beef, and we will try and do a meal all on one egg with the expander system, so you can see it all, because that's what Andy's asked for. But yeah,
Miles says he's taking your Christmas order.
that's fine, Miles. If it's as good as last year's, bring it on. That was an exceptional piece of beef. He, it needed a bit of trimming on, to get the mouldy bits off, but it was amazing. You need to try beef like that, people. So we'll show you David when he comes. Maybe I'll get him to bring a bit that has the crusty outside on, so you can see what it looks like. But yeah. So any other requests, just fill in the form on the website. I don't know whether we'll be 2 or 3 people. Let us know whether we need to get Andy back to do the camera so Helena can type. Are we missing out? And so on.
Do we know what we're serving with porchetta later?
We don't yet. No, it's a mystery. What did we do the other day? Baby roast potatoes.
Yeah.
And did we roast some vegetables of some form? I can't even remember.
I don't know. We did beans and courgettes.
Beans and oh yes, French green beans and roasted courgettes, but with black garlic ketchup, which you can get. We bought that from the chop shop in our village here, but you can get it elsewhere, and it's delish. Just run it through the beans and the courgettes. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, one final look, and then we'll sign off. So you can see it's already drying out a bit. Stopped chucking sausage meat out the middle now because it's starting to set. That is going to be epic. And I'll do some videos throughout the afternoon so you can see it. Right, thank you, people. As ever, get in contact. Phone numbers on the website, meatsmokefire.co.uk. Email is nick@meatsmokefire.co.uk. These videos will go up on YouTube, so you can watch them there if you want to refer back to them. Helena's laughing, so go
Fighting talk from Carlos. Bring your A game on Wednesday, Nick.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Carlos. Yeah. So Carlos and I play golf. So far, I think it's 2-all in the 4 rounds we've had. I lost to him on the 18th hole of 2 of them, I think. Anyway. Right. Get out there. Get your eggs on, people. Get cooking and enjoy yourselves. So we'll see you next week. You've got to press the stop bit now.
Yep.
Perfect. Is that all right?
Yeah.